Hey everyone, Michelle here from Scrappy Soul Sister, and I am here with you today with a process video for my Creative Scrapbook. Now, this is using the July limited edition kit, which is full of little celebrations by 49 and Market. And there are some other pieces as well. You can always check out my unboxing video if you want to see the kit in detail. So I have gessoed the background paper I'm going to use with a clear gesso, and I'm going to use paint for my mixed media aspect. And I am just going to spin my paper, and I'm going to do this just in a couple different layers. And so I know it's going really fast. Wasn't sure how much to show of this because a lot of it is covered. And so really I'm just playing. But the colors that I used for my paint are white, speckled egg, scorched timber, frayed burlap, antique bronze, and crackling campfire. And so, if you want to see this type of layered paint background in more detail, I can link one of my other videos as well because it goes into a little bit more detail. But I am just adding a little bit of water to get the paint to run. I have dried in between some of these layers. And yeah, and like I said, a lot of this doesn't end up showing, but it is kind of fun to play with it, and a little bit will show behind some of the layers. And so here I'm drying it. Now there are some pretty hard lines in there. I know that all of that is going to be behind the pictures, so I don't really care. But I do like, the paint to the left and to the top. Um, and yeah, now, it's if you want it to stay more pure, then of course you wouldn't let it run together. But I like the color that was created by letting the paint kind of merge in places. And this is the first step. I'm going to do some stamping on this and a little bit of stenciling as well. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this final little bit. And so I've added just a little bit more blue, a little bit more white, and dried it. And now I'm going to add some splatters with my crackled campfire, which really I thought matched the splatters that were existing in the paper. And then I'm going to add some splatters with the speckled egg. I'm probably going to do white as well, and then I will be done with the paint. So this layout is going to be for a friend of mine. She had a granddaughter just about the time that I was figuring out what layout or what pictures I was going to use on my layouts. And so she was nice enough to provide me with a couple of new baby pictures. And so I'm going to use one of her pictures for this layout. And so I really like how this turned out. And um, I am going to just knock it back a little bit with some white. I'm just using my brayer to do that. And then I also brayered one of the stamps that comes in the kit. And I'm just going to stamp some white in some of the areas that I think might show. Now, sometimes, I do my cluster so I can see what room I'm going to have. I just did off camera the same thing with scorched timber with one of the flower sets. And then I am going to add some wordy bits in some of the clusters. And like I was saying, sometimes I figure out where my cluster is going to be beforehand. I know it's going to be right in the center, and so I am just going to go for it with my uh, mixed media and just let whatever shows will show and whatever doesn't, I'm not going to fuss about too much. And so I'm going to use this stencil. I think this came in last month's limited edition kit, so the June kit, maybe either May or June. And this is a Ranger stencil paste. It kind of has a bit of a shine to it. So I am going to take it through some of the layout just around in that same kind of loose circle. And I think that is about it for the mixed media portion. So I'm going to let it dry. And while it's drying, I'm just going to work on my cut file. So you do get this cut file in the kit. I went ahead and cut it out a couple times, or at least one other time. And you can get the cut file from the uh, cut file section of the My Creative Scrapbook website if you are a member. And I'm spraying it with Chance of Rain, which is a shimmer spritz. And so kind of wanted to bring out that kind of steely blue color. And here is also my title, which is also a cut file. Now, this one you don't get in the kit, but you again can pull it off of the cut file section for members. And so it is happy. I really like that it had kind of a floral element, so it kind of worked with the cut file that we get in the kit. And so I am adhering my picture there, hopefully. And so we'll see how well it adhered when my gesso comes off of that picture. But if you are using any mixed media, of course, or have gesso on your paper, then liquid adhesive is the way to go. And so while that is drying, I'm just going to apply some double stick dimensional foam to my title and kind of see how that is looking. Now I haven't peeled off the backing, so I can just move it around and play with it as I wish. And so, yep, I realized that I hadn't put the two pieces that I was going to put behind my picture, so I just yanked that up. It hadn't really stuck yet, and so I'm going to back my paper with these two strips and adhere it to that, and then this will help it stick a bit better as well. So I'm going to go through that process again of getting it down, and I am going to use, I think that's gathered twigs to ink the edges a little bit, line it up again, and make sure I think that that is going to stick this time around. And I'm not sure what I'm doing now. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and take a look at how I want my title to read. I think that is what I end up with, though the picture perfect might move up. And I think that is how I'm going to do my flowers. So it kind of is a loose S design going up next to the photo there. And I think, let's see here. I am going to go ahead and start adding some of the embellishments. So the flowers that come in this kit are so gorgeous. So I think I used just about each and every one on my 4 layouts this time around. I am going to use those flowers as they lay right there in the mint, the brown, and the ivory dimensional flowers. I know Stacy had said that she was going to use this layout or these layouts in shadow box, so I'm not worried about the height at all. And I am going to use that tag up at the top left. That is going to stay. And then I'm going to add a couple of balloon embellishments to add to that celebration feel of her and gorgeous little granddaughter, Lennon, there. And what else is going to happen here? I think I am going to add that viewfinder piece. Now that I'm going to use that at the bottom left and at the top right there. And those are going to be kind of my little bases for embellishment clusters. And the pearls I am going to add to this layout. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it, but that will come in a little bit later. I was thinking about using the little birdies, but I decided not to. I am instead going to add quite a few hearts and stars. You'll see those come in. But those are the elements I decide to use for my embellishments. I am kind of figuring out the florals that I want to use. And I don't know if you can see it or if I've added it yet. I have a little tag piece there to the right of the brown and ivory flower. And here are the stars and the hearts that I had mentioned earlier. I'm kind of laying them out. I decide I want them to stand out a little bit more. So I am getting out my um, nonstick mat here. I use that when I do these little projects just so I can move these around as they dry, but I'm going to add some glossy accents to my hearts and stars here. And do I show you the whole thing? Maybe. Usually I cut some of this out, so my apologies if it's a little repetitive. But I'm going to go ahead and fill these, and then I am going to spray them. That part I don't show you, but I did spray them with the Chance of Rain spritz so that they kind of have a little bit of blue colorant as well. So they've dried. I am figuring out how I want those to lay out. And I have also tied off my tag with the caramel colored floss that comes in the kit. I have decided on where my little picture perfect sentiment is going. They're above happy. And I'm adding a couple of circular word phrases, celebrate there to the right. And then I'm going to add dream big to the left. And yeah, I think this layout is getting a little bit closer to being complete. I'm figuring out where my hearts and stars are going to go. I want some on the balloons and some off to the side of the embellishment clusters. Here's that dream big. And I also take some of the pearls off of the strand and put them in my flowers. Then I'm going to take a section of the strand here after I finish those, and I'm just going to have it dip between one of the florals off to the left and that green flower to the right. And I like how that turned out, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. And then I think I am, oh yeah, I take a look. Yeah, and I probably could have done something up to the right, but I want as much of the I want that to kind of pull your attention to the photo. It's really important to me that photos, you don't have to search your layout for the photo. I want you to see it um, uh, right off the bat. So I am going to add some more splatters, primarily in white and a little bit with scorched timber. So that is the last few steps I'm going to take. So thank you for joining me for this video. If you like the content, please hit like or subscribe. And I also appreciate your comments and your kind words. Thank you so much for all your support for my channel, as it is so appreciated. And check out my creative scrapbook. The link will be in the description. Thank you, everyone.